Hi, my name is Layla Singleton, and I am the lead instructor helming the Graphic and Digital Design program here at InFocus Film School. A graphic designer could work on any number of things. They could work on packaging for food, CPG. They could work on album covers. Used to be CDs, everybody, the Holy Grail was working on CDs. Now I think it's kind of vinyl. Everybody wants to design vinyl packaging. Gosh, you could work on calendars. You can work on promotional items like mugs, and you would do a lot of that in-house. T-shirts, anything that needs a logo plastered on it. You could be working on signage, wayfinding, that would be environmental graphics. You could work on books. Book design is actually kind of its own field. So there are a lot of people that all they do is book cover design. There are people who focus more on the insides of books, and so that's getting more into publication design, so designing multi-page layouts, magazines, books, that sort of thing. Oh my gosh, what else? Maps, you could work on maps. I've worked on many maps. I've worked on brochures. The list really goes on. That's the magic question. How do you find a job as a graphic designer? I think that there are multiple ways to attack your job search as a graphic designer, and you have to be on top of it. I love LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a fantastic place and probably my go-to place that I point any of my students in for looking for jobs. They just have a really robust platform, and it is a dedicated professional platform. So I think it's probably one of the best places to look for jobs. You can set job alerts, and I love the fact that you can set many different search parameters and really drill down to what works for you, whether that's remote working or you want to be a certain amount of kilometers away from a certain place. So LinkedIn is really great. Depending on where you live, believe it or not, Craigslist isn't just the place where you go to get a stinky couch for $10. I actually got one of my jobs through Craigslist back when I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area. Depends on which city you live in. Some Craigslists are pretty sleepy, but some will have a lot of job posts. So never forget about your good friend Craigslist. There are a host of industry-specific websites where you can look for jobs. Some that come to mind would be the American Institute of Graphic Arts, if you're looking for work in the States. The DesCan in Canada is a really great resource. They have a job board. RGD in Canada is a great place. Those are all industry sources. Those tend to be more jobs that are scattered throughout Canada, so it's not going to be as laser focused on your immediate area. I think too, particularly if you're freelancing, finding jobs can be a little hard. Indeed.com or Indeed.ca in Canada, they have a really robust job database. I would say that them and LinkedIn are probably, pretty much the best places to go. Obviously, each province will have their own places you can go to look up jobs. But also, I think making friends, this is one of my super secret tips, and I'm giving it to everybody. But one of my super secret tips is to make friends with a printer. So somebody who owns a brick and mortar printing press, a commercial printer. I'm not talking like, your HP DeskJet printer. We're talking like a real printer. And a lot of times they have clients who will come directly to them who need stuff printed, let's say a brochure, but they don't have anything designed and they think the printer can do it for them. And the printer doesn't always want to do that. So if they know that you are a good, reliable graphic designer, A lot of times they'll reach out to you and say, hey, guess what? I have this client who came to us. They are wanting to do a calendar this year as a client gift for Christmas. Can you help them out? So always keep your ear to the ground. Of course, there are all the places that you would normally go to look for a job, but also be willing to look in other places, do some hard work, join DesCan, join RGD. These are the organizations in Canada, in the industry, or if you're in the States, AIGA, and make friends with other designers too, and just keep your ears open. There's work everywhere. Cold calling is still a great way to get your foot in the door. Whether or not you're successful all depends on how you approach people. So you just have to be careful with your approach. When you reach out to, let's say you have a dream agency and they're not hiring, you want to check their website first. This would be true of any company, not just an ad agency or a design studio, but any company. Check their website first, see if they're hiring. If they're not hiring, see if they have a no cold calling policy. If someplace has a no cold calling policy, don't make them mad. Don't ruin your relationship with them, just wait until they post a job. But if they say, we welcome unsolicited applications, then that's your green light. Now that you know that they are open to receiving unsolicited applications and portfolios, you really want to be careful with your attack. I worked at an ad agency as an art director for 4 years, and I can tell you that I got emails constantly from people who wanted to work at our agency. And the truth is that for somebody who is in a position of leadership in an agency environment or a design studio, emails just get lost. They really get buried. I loved it when people would send me something physical in the mail. And I think that it's getting more and more special to receive something tangible. Everything is digital now. Digital is starting to feel a little throwaway, and there's something about that tactile experience of receiving something in your hands that can really set you apart. That always got my attention when I was working in an agency environment. So I would recommend putting together a special package. Don't put scary things in it. Don't make it look like it could be something dangerous. Don't put in, perishable stuff that people will be, a little hesitant to put in their mouths. But put together a package that really exemplifies your strengths as a designer. So if you are really good at, say, folded pieces, maybe you come up with a creatively folded brochure featuring all your work and you send that to an art director or creative director. Perhaps you like package design and you can create a little 3-dimensional package and maybe put cards of your work in it that they can kind of just filter through. Think of something that is special. Think of something that is handmade. Think of something that will stand out, that won't look like junk mail. And really try to make an impression, because there are so many people reaching out, cold calling, looking for jobs. If you don't take the time to put together something that is a little special, you risk just being lost in the shuffle. Putting together a portfolio is always an intense project and a somewhat personal project. So if we're talking about right out of school for a graphic designer who's just getting started, I would say the most important thing is to have a variety of pieces in your portfolio, because potential employers, clients, they are very apples to apples. So if they look at your portfolio and you only have magazine layouts in your portfolio, then they will not think that you are capable of doing anything other than magazine layouts. So when you're first embarking on your career, you want to keep possibilities open. You want to have the ability to pursue anything that interests you. I would say for a beginning graphic designer, have multi-page layouts. Show that you can use typography. That's a huge one that students don't always realize people are looking for. We want to see that you can use typography. Multi-page layouts are really good for that. Also, have projects that are kind of series projects. So don't just do a poster, try to do a series of posters. Show that you know how to take a look and feel that you've developed for one piece of collateral and adapt it to other pieces of collateral. So make sure that your projects are complex enough. I would say that, other things that are helpful to have would be packaging design. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but if that's something that interests you, you might want to have one packaging design project in your portfolio. I would say that it's important that all the pieces in your portfolio really underscore that you know how to use Creative Suite. So all of the top Adobe applications, InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator. And I do think that it's very important to have digital work in your portfolio as well. So not just print work, which would be things like posters and packages and brochures, etc., but also, maybe you do a series of HTML emails. Maybe you do a campaign for Instagram. Social media graphics are a great thing to show in a beginning portfolio because oftentimes when you're hired on it as a beginner, you would want to have that stuff in your portfolio. There are many times that you'll be kind of doing sort of those kinds of projects. I would say that once you start to figure out who you are as a designer and what it is that you want to pursue, you can maybe focus on maybe a certain type of collateral or maybe a certain type of client. So an example would be, I worked at an ad agency where we just so happened to have a lot of clients in the travel and tourism and hospitality space. And so I was able to selectively show that work when I applied for a job in the travel and tourism space and present kind of like a more focused version of my portfolio. So look for those opportunities to find commonalities between pieces of work in your portfolio so that you can present them as packages to different clients who again are looking for that apples to apples experience. We understand as designers that if you know InDesign, you know InDesign. You could do a catalog for a luxury car company, or you could do a catalog for a college or a university. But clients don't always see it that way. So be mindful of the types of work that you're doing and look for opportunities, again, to kind of group them into categories when needed to get the kinds of jobs with the clients that you want.